Hey everyone, it's me, Pearl, your host of Pearl's Barkhives, where we talk about all things history. Today I bring you the 6th episode of our Barkhives Marathon, where we will be talking about the state of New York and North Carolina. So let's dive in. Prior to European arrival in the 16th and 17th century, the land that is now the state of New York was inhabited by indigenous Americans for at least 13,000 years. These people included the Iroquois Confederacy and the Algonquin people. The Algonquin people traded furs in exchange for guns and ammunition with the Dutch and the French. The Dutch established their first colony in the New World in 1623, called New Netherland, following the voyages of English explorer Henry Hudson. However, the British wanted the territory that New Netherland was on and waged 3 wars between 1652 and 1674 to have it. The British eventually renamed the colony to New York. During the American Revolution, nearly a third of all revolutionary battles were fought in New York, including the Battle of Saratoga, one of the most influential battles in the war, because it convinced the French to ally themselves with the American colonists. After the Constitution was ratified in 1788, New York City became the first capital of the United States, and our first president, George Washington, was actually inaugurated at Federal Hall on Wall Street. Starting in the mid to late 19th century, millions of European immigrants came to the U.S. to flee religious persecution, famine, and rising taxes with the promise of the American dream. Over 70% of these immigrants arrived through New York City. The majority of these immigrants came from Ireland, Germany, and China. Then, in the early 20th century, many African Americans moved to New York during the Great Migration, with many of them moving to Harlem, resulting in the Harlem Renaissance. New York was also the site of the Seneca Falls Convention in 1848, kicking off the women's suffrage movement, and in 1969, Greenwich Village was the site of the Stonewall Uprising, which inspired a new wave of gay rights activism. Now let's move on to North Carolina. Like all the other states we've discussed so far, indigenous people lived in the area that is now North Carolina for at least 12,000 years, with groups such as the Cherokee, Croatoan, and many others. Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto landed in North Carolina in the 1540s, but the first settlement on the land wasn't made until 1585 by English explorer Sir Walter Raleigh on Roanoke Island. This settlement would later be known as the Lost Colony due to the mysterious circumstances in which the colony ended. North Carolina and South Carolina were officially divided in 1712. North Carolina was the first state to take legislative action to resist the British taxes by signing a non-importation agreement in November of 1769. North Carolina became the 12th state in the Union to ratify the Constitution on November 21, 1789. During the Civil War, North Carolina seceded from the Union in 1862, becoming the 10th state to do so. After the Civil War ended, the post-war Reconstruction began in the state, with many African Americans being elected to state offices, and Shaw University becoming the first college available to African Americans in the South in 1865. However, these successes were then followed by the Jim Crow era and the Wilmington Massacre. However, in the 20th century, North Carolina was also the site of important civil rights actions, including the well-known 1960 Greensboro sit-in. Time for some fun facts about these states. Up to 800 languages are spoken in New York City, making it the most linguistically diverse city in the world. Emeralds occur naturally in North Carolina. New York is home to one of the world's smallest churches, located in Oneida. The first gold rush in America was in North Carolina. I hope you found this episode interesting and informational. As always, you should like, follow, and share our content with everyone you know so they can enjoy the Barkhives too. See you tomorrow with the next episode in the Barkhives Marathon. Until then, Pearl out!